Hello neighbor, this is Curt with eTrailer, and today we're going to take a look at the Inno Aero Roof Rack, and we're going to see how it fits and how it installs on our 2025 Ford Bronco Sport. Now on your next trip or adventure in your Bronco Sport, you might find yourself in a situation where you've got either too much gear to fit in the vehicle with you and your other passengers, or you've got some things that you just don't want riding with you in the vehicle with you and the other passengers. And in those cases, a roof rack can be an excellent way to transport those extra items. There are all kinds of accessories available for a roof rack, such as roof cargo boxes, roof cargo baskets, and platform racks. There are bike racks available, awnings, water sport carriers, kayak carriers, all sorts of things that can go up here on the roof and make transportation to and from your destination that much easier. This roof rack has an aero style bar, which means it has this kind of ovular shape. This is going to be much more aerodynamic. There won't be as much vibration up here, as well as not having as much road noise as you'll get out of a round or square bar. It's an overhanging crossbar, which means that the bar comes out beyond the tower. It doesn't dead end in the tower. This is going to give you a lot more bar space than a flush roof rack where the crossbar would dead end into the tower. You'll have all this bar space to work with, along with some overhang that you can use your clamp mounted accessories with. You also have the ability to use T-track accessories. If you remove your end cap here, what you'll find is this weather stripping up top in this slot. All you need to do is push down on that and slide your T-track accessories over onto the bar and place them where you need them. Now this particular roof rack kit uses two different sizes of crossbars. We have a 57-inch bar in the front and a 54-inch bar in the back. So they don't line up perfectly with each other on the ends. What they do, however, is they have an equal amount of bar hanging out over it. Inno is really into symmetry from a visibility standpoint. Now this does leave us room still outside of the towers that we could still put a clamp mounted accessory up here. But with the longer bar being up at the front, you might be a little bit worried about the overhang and head clearance, but the truth is, when you're getting into the vehicle, you're generally getting in at kind of an angle like this. So I wouldn't be too worried about it, but it is something that you want to keep in mind. So let's check out how it fits on the roof of the Bronco Sport. So the first measurement that we're going to take is our crossbar spread. Now, with rails like this, you do have the ability to kind of move these back and forth as you want to, but I think the placement of the bars we have is really perfect as far as accessibility goes, and it gives us a crossbar spread of about 29 3/4 inches, so around the 30-inch mark, and for me that's perfect. Every rooftop accessory has a minimum and a maximum crossbar spread that can accept it. 30 inches kind of puts it in the middle of all those that I can think of. So I like the fact that I'm not going to be too worried about coming across rooftop accessories that won't fit on this setup. Now, the roof of the Sport is a little bit unique in that it has this rise that comes up right in the middle of the roof. So when it comes to clearance underneath the bar, on our back bar, we're going to have about 2.5 inches of clearance. In our front bar, we're going to have about 3.5 inches of clearance under the bar. Either way, that's more than enough room to get those clamp mounted accessories down around under it and secured onto our bar. The other thing we'll take a look at is how much height is this actually adding to the roof of the vehicle. And if we take a look at it from right here, we're adding about 3 3/4 inches to the height of the vehicle from there, from this point right here. I'm not entirely sure where they necessarily measure vehicle height from when it comes to the actual specs on the Bronco, but you can use that measurement along with your accessory height in order to determine any kind of roof clearance issues that you might come across, any low-hanging branches or garage or something along those lines. The other thing to keep in mind is that we've got our antenna back here. Now, there are going to be roof accessories that will go beyond the bar, you know, a lot of rooftop boxes and things like that, where we might get some interference out of that antenna. Now, you can actually unscrew that antenna and remove it. And if you do, the top of that comes out below the top of your bar, which means that any accessory you put on top of here, if it goes like that much further back toward the back of the vehicle, should be able to clear that antenna without any issues. Now, when it comes to the installation at Inno, that's one of my favorite things. The Inno, as a manufacturer, really makes some of the easiest roof racks to put on and take off of the vehicle. And that's huge, especially because, you know, if you like to run your car through an automatic car wash, it's not a good idea to leave your roof rack on there when you do that. So having a system like this that you can easily remove and put back on is huge. So stick around, I'm going to show you exactly how we got these on the roof of our Bronco Sport. Now, to begin our installation, we're going to start with attaching our towers onto our crossbar. And if we turn over our crossbar, what we'll find on the back is this little section here that's going to slide back and forth. And if we depress this button, we'll slide it all the way under, and what we'll do is we're going to expose this area with two cavities, one small cavity here and one larger cavity right here. On the top of our tower, we're going to find these little T-slot tabs, and what we're going to do is we're going to put it in so the smaller section's in here and the larger section with the block goes in here. And then once that goes in, all we got to do is slide it over, and we've got our tower attached. We're going to do the same thing with our other tower. Now, with our towers attached, we're going to put our crossbar up on our roof rails, and two things to keep in mind when we're doing that. One, on our crossbar, the wider portion should be facing the front of the vehicle, the thinner portion to the back. And the other thing we want to make sure of is that this rubber strap goes underneath our rail here. So we're just going to go ahead and try to feed this across as best we can. If we can't get that strap under over there, so be it. We'll do it on this side and then make our way over there to get the other. The next thing we're going to take a look at is the positioning of our bar. Now, we're pretty much free to move this anywhere on our rail that's open, but we want to make sure that we've got enough of a crossbar spread up here so that it can accept any of the accessories we want to put up there. The other thing too is we've got our back bar on already, and we moved it as far up to this cutoff section right here as we could. I'm going to do the same thing with this one up here, move it as far forward here as I can. If that is not a placement where you want it, however, what you do need to make sure of is that your towers are going to be directly across from each other. So if you don't want to move it up to all the way to that section, what I would do is I would find a spot on here, maybe this seam right here, and take a measurement and make sure that that measurement is equal on both sides. That'll guarantee that our towers are directly across from one another and therefore guarantee that our bars are going to be perfectly parallel. But we're going to make it so that this is moved all the way up to the front. Again, I just want to give us as much crossbar spread as I can. And I also want to put the bars right in between this second row door threshold. That way I can open the door, I can get up in the threshold, and I'm right in between my two bars. It's going to help a lot with cargo management. So with my bars positioned where I want them, I'm going to go ahead and take my rubber strap. There's a rubber coated metal bar in here. It's going to sit right on these two little cradle hooks. So I'm going to bring that up and into that cradle. I'm going to do the same thing over on the passenger side. So with the towers in place, now we're going to double check the overhang of our crossbar. So what we're looking for is the same amount of bar hanging out over the tower on both the driver and the passenger side. So at this point, grab your measuring tape and go ahead and take that measurement. And I'm going to double check that on the other side. If I need to shift this bar back and forth, I can. But once I have an equal measurement here and on the passenger side, we're going to have our bar set. So the next thing that we'll do once we have everything in the placement that we want it is with this little tab right here, we're going to be turning this clockwise to tighten it down. Now this is going to tighten down two things simultaneously. One, it's going to tighten down the rubber strap that's holding onto our rail here, and two, it's going to tighten the bar down onto our tower. So it's going to put everything in place and lock it in there. Now, a tip that I have would be don't tighten down one side completely before going to tighten down the other. I'm going to give this 5 or 6 turns, and then I'm going to go do the same thing over on the passenger side. And I'm just going to work my way back and forth. And the reason for this is, and I've seen it before, where you can tighten down one side all the way and it kind of knocks the other side out of place. So we just want to make sure that we keep everything where we want it and get it tightened down. And once you get everything tightened down, you just want to make sure that this tab, that you don't have it sideways like this. However tight you get it, if you need to back it off a little bit, so be it. But you want to make sure that it's in this position where it's perfectly vertical. And once you get it there and everything is tightened down, our bar isn't moving anywhere, our towers aren't moving anywhere, we're going to go ahead and grab our tower cover and we're going to get that up and into place. It's just going to slide and snap right on and we'll lock it up from there. And while we're taking a look at this, having metal lock cores with keys is a huge bonus with Inno. A lot of roof racks that you get out there will give you a plastic lock core that you can open with a screwdriver or a coin or something like that. And then you have to get the metal lock cores and keys separate. With Inno, you get everything all in one package. So that's really it for the installation. As I said before, really, really easy to put these on and take them off of your Bronco Sport. But that is a look at the Inno Aero Roof Rack on the 2025 Ford Bronco Sport. And if you have any questions about it after watching this video, or if you've gone ahead and got them and you've used them and you've got some experience to share, go ahead and leave those questions and those stories in the comments below. We would love to share those with other neighbors just like you in order to help them make the best decision for themselves. Once again, this is Curt with eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.